about transition, and I talk a lot about transition, and that was one of my first strategic point that presented to the board. The issue that when we talk about transition, we think about OECD country, we think about ourselves, but then we have a huge number of people, maybe 83-84% of the worldwide population, that is in a lack of energy, especially electricity. If you think that Africa counts for 17% of the overall population, the same number of population of all the OECD countries together, but they use just 3-4% of the energy. They have more than 600 in Africa, 650 million people that don't have access to electricity, and then they produce just 4% of the total CO2 emissions. So really, they have more energy in terms of oil and gas and solar than the US. So you can imagine the big gap with these countries. Now we have to ask them, please change completely. You cannot use crude, you cannot use gas, you have to just use renewable. So the situation is not easy. What we can do, what we are doing, first of all, is to, and that has been done in the past, investing to give them access to energy. So that was one of the first points I faced, but that before became CEO, that was to invest Africa for Africa. And what I mean that when I found gas before, okay, we use LNG, but now most of the gas that we have found, we give this gas to the countries. And that is not easy because there is no infrastructures. So you have to build power plant, and we invested as ENI 2.5 billion for gas power plant in some countries for more than 1 gigawatt. Then we have to invest in the high tension line and distribution as well to keep electricity. Now, with this action, now we are covering about 20 million people that before they were without electricity, or they used biomasses that was impacting the forest, the primary and secondary forest, and they caused a lot of damage, especially on the domestic situation. So Africa or the developing country, you must help them to change the energy mix, use their own energy. Clearly, when you do that, you take a risk, because it's much easier for an LNG company to find gas and then use LNG and sell gas to different markets. There is securitization in your payment, you can recover your investment. When you invest in exploration, then in development, and the gas is used for the countries, the risk is higher. But maybe you reduce a little bit your profit, but you are increasingly, you increase enormously the value for the country and for your company, because normally we stay for 40, 50, 60 years in the country. So you must be part of the country. And if you take risk, you become credible. And then you can create value for your company as well.